B, what is your thought leadership? It is what you do different, better, and newer than it has been done before in your industry. It is your unique perspective around an idea that you can see, that you can create, that you can manifest via your work. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a C-level executive, it does not matter. It is what you can envision, what you can take the ownership of, what you can brand like your thought leadership, so that the whole world knows you for doing that level of transcendental work in your industry and celebrates you for that. It is the manifestation of your big idea that you have to change the world, because you and only you can see that and make that change happen.
Welcome to the WeTransform show, a show where we meet real-life transformers and influencers and know their stories in the first person, because we believe we all can transform and there is no right or wrong time for transformation. Today our guest is Tanvi Bhatt. Tanvi is a pioneer in personal branding in India. She empowers leaders become thought leaders and thought leaders become legends. She is the author of Tools of Transcendence, a secret toolkit of thought leaders who build iconic personal brands, a book that teaches leaders how to think, act, and become thought leaders in their industry. Tanvi is a go-to speaker and authority on personal branding in India. Tanvi is recognized as a personal branding expert for the CXOs by the Economic Times, where she writes on all things personal branding under her signature column, Brand You. Tanvi is regularly featured across national and international media such as the Times of India, Economic Times, DNA, Hindustan Times, India Today, Entrepreneur, Inc. magazine, etc. And over the last 9 years, Tanvi has delivered over 200 corporate keynotes. She's inspired over 100,000 leaders and entrepreneurs in India as well as global forums like CII, FICCI, PhD, TEDx conferences. I think she has done 3 of them, TI conferences, Dubai SME World, DMI, GITO, IIMs, IITs, etc. And the interesting part is that Tanvi is a bioinformatics scientist by education who fell in love with branding during her business management stint and transformed into a personal branding expert. I can go on for next 15 minutes talking about Tanvi, but let's not do that. Let's bring Tanvi here and know her story from herself. So Tanvi, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for such a warm introduction, and thank you for hosting me on this amazing WeTransform platform.
Thank you so much, Tanvi. It's an honor that you are here today. In fact, I will tell you, when I first saw you, it was in one of the keynotes. It was one of the sessions you were doing. And I was so inspired by the whole personal branding thing you were talking about. In fact, before I saw you, I heard you, personal branding was something else for me. And it completely transformed, my mindset transformed to understand what branding is. So thank you so much for finding time today and joining us in the show, Tanvi.
My pleasure entirely, Alok.
Great. So let's get started, Tanvi, and we will ask some questions. There's some questions which are there for you. But yeah, before I get into knowing the work and everything, I want to know a little beginning of the story. How did the story of Tanvi started?
Okay, how much further back in the beginning would you like me to go?
You choose wherever you want to start from.
All right, let me start from my B school days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like any other young student in India, I decided after my graduation, I didn't want to do my master's. As an engineer, I studied bioinformatics. I didn't want to do master's and PhD and invest another 5-7 years of my life and then end up, doing some beginner level research work in some lab, in some part of the world. I was like, that's not who I am anymore. Okay, naturally MBA happened. Realized that I need to have a PG definitely. I didn't want to just have a graduate degree because I was not going to pursue that industry anymore. So management happened. Fell in love with branding. After my B school, honestly, I became an accidental entrepreneur. I did not plan entrepreneurship. I did get placed with a bot, but I realized I don't want to do that as well because they were making me shadow MRs for the next 6 months, and that is also okay. I would have done that. I would have rallied, right? But unfortunately, the territory given to me was the biggest slum of Southeast Asia, Dharavi. I could not imagine myself going there every single day for the next 6 months, shadowing the MR and learning the tricks of trade. Not who I am as a person. So I'm like, okay, let's change the footprints again. And that's how I realized, okay, I don't know what I want to do in my life. Engineering kiya, don't want to continue that. MBA kiya, don't want to continue a job. My parents were like, what do you really want to do in your life? Do you have any idea or clarity? Right? I think we all find ourselves in such situations at some point in our careers when we have no idea that instead of checking all the right boxes, you don't know where you're headed. Okay? So for the next few months, I was just struggling to honestly answer it for myself. What do I really want to do in my life? And that's when my fiance, back then he told me, why don't you do something on your own? And I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. What will I do on my own? I didn't even hail from a business family, and I had no idea what I would possibly want to do. So he said, listen, Tanvi, you've been so passionate about public speaking. Why don't you start coaching people around the art of speaking and help them become a better communicator, become a better speaker? And I give it a thought. I'm like, I could do that. I do love flaunting what I know. And if that can help some people become better speakers and learn the art of stagecraft the way I have passionately invested now as of today, 20 years into learning the art of speaking, it would be a win-win for both of us. That's how my journey of entrepreneurship began, to help people become better speakers. That's the first company's intention. My first company was called Panache. It was all about helping people infuse that panache in the art of speaking. I was like, okay, brilliant, this is going to go very well. In the next 6 months, I had 2 clients, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong again? Right? And I'm like, I know what I want to do. I'm enjoying this, but something is missing. So I realized, okay, I need to figure out a way that people find me and they seek me out instead of me going in and doing knock every second day.
I know. Selling is not everybody's thing, and it sometimes be very, very annoying if you're not designed to sell.
And I wasn't. Absolutely not. Even today, I mean, that is one weakness that I wish I could overcome, and I will hopefully in due course of time. I'm not a salesperson at all. I'm a creative person. I know what I want to do, and I'm good at what I do, but I can't sell that in the salesy way, right? I can inspire people.
I can vouch for that, and I can tell you how I know this. So it was your summit which you recently did, and you did a video at the end of one of the summit videos, and then you were asking people to, it was a teaser video, and you were asking people to enroll for the VIP.
Right.
The kind of politeness with which you ask, I said, nobody does this. Look at Tanvi. You have done so much politeness with which we ask, if you want to go to the VIP, go ahead. I thought, oh my God, she does not want to ask this. It's like something is holding her. But I can totally understand. See,
Yes.
I've spent a lot of years in sales, and I can really feel
Wow.
that. But yeah, Tanvi, one more thing I realized, that as you said, that you're not from a business background, as in the family was not in business, and same happened with me, because I'm from a working class family. For me, thinking about entrepreneurship, thinking about business are little scary keywords, and many
Correct.
people are out there who say, "Kaise karenge?" I've not seen it from the childhood. How would that happen? But breaking it so early in a life is achievement. Like today, I do teach public speaking and communication skills to some students in upgrad, but that's after 20 years of working in the
Right.
market. But you started with that. Where you got that courage to start up with something like this? How it came to you?
Not in the best forms of my life. Like I said, as of today, it's been 20 years of my journey of being a student to master the art of speaking. And my journey began when I was, I think, 13 or 14 in high school. And I'm a Guju girl, okay? So I didn't have the perfect pronunciations and enunciations while growing up, and that was naturally a matter of amusement for my friends. And they would obviously, make a laughing stock out of it sometimes if I would just miss the pronunciation. And as a high school teenager, it left a huge impression on my psyche that, oh my God, am I the laughing stock? Right? And I was so embarrassed all those times. So I promised myself during one such moment that had happened to me that never ever again in my life will I allow myself to be vulnerable, that people will take a dig at me. on my speaking skills especially. So I promised myself that, and that's how my journey of learning the science of speaking, the art of speaking, and of course today there's a strategy also behind how you speak as a keynote speaker. That's been the growth and evolution of my own journey as a speaker. And back then I had no idea what I'm going to do in my life. I just wanted to be an eloquent speaker that nobody can get enough of. That was a dream back then, and it is today as well. Even today, I keep saying to myself that one fine day when I'm done speaking on a stage, I would want at least one person in the room to get up and tell me, Tanvi, please don't stop speaking. That's the level of finesse I wish to grow into. And inshallah, that will happen one day. But till then, it's a journey of learning and growing into it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Tanvi, as you said, there's a science to speaking. A lot of our listeners are aspiring speakers as well. Those who want to make it out there, including me. I can be one of your students for sure. So would you like to give some tips for those who are seeking into the public speaking domain?
Yes, absolutely. To begin with, I would strongly encourage and invite everyone very politely, like you said earlier, to go check out my TED Talk, which I did on the art of stagecraft, where I share these 9 amazing lessons that I have learned in the journey of 20 years of learning the art and craft of public speaking. But when you talk about the science of speaking, I think it begins with clarity of thought. Today a lot of people come and tell me, Tanvi, at times you speak so fast, at times you speak so slow. Why? Is that a struggle? And I'm like, no, it is by design. I'm so clear on what message needs to be delivered at a pace at which people are roused to listen to you, and what message you need to tone it down, slow it down, invite them in, hook them in with the right, different mosaic of elements of constructing your content, constructing and practicing the delivery of that content to your audience to achieve the intended impact. Right? I think that is the science of speaking. As a speaker, you are in the business of transcendence of thought of your audience, transcendent of feelings or emotions of your audience, transcendence the self-confidence and the ability to go back and try and implement all those things that they have learned from you. Transcendence of action at their own level, of actually doing it in real time and seeing the impact and benefit of the change that you have inspired them to bring upon, and ultimately the transcendence of impact that they have experienced the change themselves, they've seen the impact, and they've been able to go back to their ecosystems and inspire them to make a similar impact. I think that is important for you as a speaker. So when you talk about the science of speaking, it's all about the clarity by which you drive every conversation, one-to-one or one-to-many. What is the intended outcome of that talk? And all your sentence constructs or the crafting of content, the ordering of content, choosing the right words, choosing the right language, semantics, everything goes into the science of what is the end objective of your piece of communication.
Wow, this is powerful. I think this is a great tip, and I will definitely share that TED Talk link in the comments below. So for those who want to watch Tanvi talk there. Tanvi, you were a bioscience student.
Bioinformatics student.
Oh my God, I'm so bad at bio. So bioinformatics student. My wife is a biotech, so I keep saying that word.
Right.
she is an MBA in biotechnology. So this is a very discrete, very different kind of field, and you were doing an engineering from that, and I understand very, very well that MBA can be a good option after that, and that was good. But then how come personal branding? Why it happened? How it happened?
So let me continue the story then. Began my journey as an entrepreneur in the industry of coaching and people development, and couldn't get the sales part of it figured out. So I wanted to create that magnetic pull, for me and my brand. That's when I realized the concept of personal branding and how you should be encouraging people to look at you as a brand. And it was very new to me, right? Because from an MBA perspective, we knew what brands are, but people brands was largely unheard of in India. So I was looking at mentors who could, possibly help me do that and learn how to build a strong personal brand as a solopreneur, as a coach. MBA didn't teach us that naturally. And I realized there's nobody doing anything remotely similar in India to what I was seeking. And I was further depressed. I'm like, oh my god, now what? Now who's going to help me out, overcome this challenge and hurdle which I'm facing? And that's when I realized there's actually an industry, a multi-million-dollar industry of personal brand coaching and consulting in the West, which had not arrived in India yet. And then that was my aha moment. I'm like, what if I'm the first one to bring them to India, bring the industry to India, and talking about personal branding? Of course, the intention earlier for me was to build my own brand as a coach, and that happened eventually. But the focus shifted from just being a speaking coach to a personal branding consultant. And went ahead, got certified, learned the tricks of trade. January 2012, I began this journey. April 2012, I launched or reinvented Panache as a personal brand, coaching studio, one of the very first in the country. And I think in the next 5 months, April to September, I think, is when I did everything by the book that I had learned how to do it step by step. Lot of blogging, lot of speaking, lot of tweeting around to help people understand who I am, what I do, why I do what I do, and why it is the next big thing. And by doing all these things, I think that one milestone which I was hoping to achieve at some point of time in my career, to build that rock solid credibility for myself in the industry, was to have Economic Times association, let me put it that way. And it happened in the most beautiful way. So I got invited by Economic Times to call him for them, called the brand you. And I was 25 when this happened, and I was beyond ecstatic. I'm like, I did not even imagine this will happen in the first 5 years, and it happened in the next 5 months of launching my business. Knowing how to build my brand, doing the right things, building the right connections, network, visibility, positioning, content strategy, thought leadership, marketing. That is personal branding. It is not about what you post on social media. It is about why you do what you do, why you are the one to do it, and why you are inimitable. This is the strategic thinking and intent behind people's brand strategies.
Wow, beautiful. And I think that is where my next question was, Tanvi. I see a lot of myths around personal branding. I see people talk about personal branding, and if you look at their profile, it itself sounds very confusing. So I sometimes just don't relate. So because you are here, I really wanted to clear that cloud above it. What is personal branding, Tanvi? We want to know from you.
Great.
In
Okay.
detail.
So first, let me tell you what it is not, because that is the confusion out there, because everyone today calls themselves a personal brand coach, and it's great. But do the right thing if you're coaching people on personal branding, because if not, you're not doing justice to them as your clients, right? Because you're not empowering them to build their brands by just doing a very superficial value addition to them. Okay, so after I started speaking about this, there was this whole deluge of an industry or professionals called image consultants, right?
Yep.
And a lot of people thought that I'm an image consultant as well. And when I would explain what I do, they'd be like, "Oh, that is not image consulting." And I'm like, "Thank you," right? But what a lot of these image consultants started doing is looking at me. They started calling themselves as personal brand coaches and consultants. And what are they doing? The same thing that they were doing as an image consultant. I'm not saying that it's not important. Image consulting is important in an aspect of helping people present their best professional side to the world, right? By dressing right, by speaking right, by behaving right. But your personal brand is not your image. It is not something that you have to manage from a virtual, superficial presentation perspective. Your personal brand is not how you dress or what you wear or where you live or how you just show up in the world. Those things are important elements of your personal brand experience, perhaps, right? But it's not your personal brand. As the word suggests, a brand is a promise of value created and delivered consistently over a period of time. Your personal brand is essentially a promise of your value that you are creating unlike anyone else, and you're delivering that consistently over a period of time. Simply put, in my definition of personal brand, your personal brand is your thought leadership. It is what you do better than anyone else. It is what you do different than anyone else. And it is what you do newer than anyone else in your line of work. And I personally believe this is the most simplistic definition of thought leadership that I've been able to come up with after 10 years of experience in the industry, of working with amazing thought leaders, studying amazing thought leaders across the world. Because today thought leadership is a buzzword in the industry, right? Everyone wants to create thought leadership, but when you go and ask these so-called people who are aspiring also to be thought leaders or are talking about thought leadership, they will not be able to define and express what is thought leadership in a common layman's language. And that is what I feel passionate about doing today, to help people understand that your personal brand, A, is your thought leadership, and B, what is your thought leadership? It is what you do different, better and newer than it has been done before in your industry. It is your unique perspective around an idea that you can see, that you can create, that you can manifest via your work. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a C-level executive, it does not matter. It is what you can envision, what you can take the ownership of, what you can brand like your thought leadership, so that the whole world knows you for doing that level of transcendental work in your industry and celebrates you for that. It is the manifestation of your big idea that you have to change the world, because you and only you can see that and make that change happen.
Oh, fantastic! This is so beautiful. I think it clears up the air, and I can see it's like if you're not around and people are talking about you, what would they talk about?
Absolutely.
What is the conversation happening when you are not in the room? I guess that is your brand, which is how you are known. Like, how do you when you take your name, what would they say about you without you being there? I guess these are the very good indications to judge and manage what a personal brand is.
True. And to build on that, I'm so sorry to cut you in. To build on that, when you're not in the same room, people don't talk about what you wear, how you show up, or how you dress, or how you speak or not. They could, but that is not the the meat of the conversation. If you're not doing it right, probably that's why they're talking about you. But if you're doing something right, that is your thought leadership, and that is why you'll be spoken about. Or else you most likely would be ridiculed about certain things that you're not doing right. Correct? But if you're spoken about, it is always about your ideas and your impact.
That is so true, and it's so powerful. One more thing, Tanvi, I feel, whenever we see a shining bright story, it looks so nice from outside. But there's a lot of grind that has gone inside, and we all fail at some times. So if I ask you, what has been one of the biggest setbacks or failures, and what have you understood or learned from that?
I think for me, the biggest failure, I don't want to call it a failure. Like I said, I'll still position it as a weakness, right? It's always been that I've never been comfortable in being very salesy or being very marketing driven, that, okay, let's go get them all, right? That's never been my DNA. It's always been a very elegant way of running the business. Okay, so I've been very happy with the way I have conducted myself in the industry, presented myself in the industry, and the quality of work that I've done. Okay, so if I think that there's been a setback, yes, there's been a setback. Because of that, I've not been very aggressive in sales part of the business, which I am now beginning to realize that I should not have done that. I should have been a little more aggressive from the sales perspective. But again, it didn't come naturally to me, so I didn't do it at that point of time, and I still don't do it today. I'm just trying to figure a way around this to do everything that I want to do, and politely invite people to be a part of my world.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. And that reminds me of something I heard from a gentleman called Rajiv Talreja. I follow him, his teachings and coachings. He talks about sales in a very special way. He says that, sales is a method in which you can extend your service to those who need.
Correct.
Now, go to that with that mindset, because yes, they will always come and ask for what they want. They don't even know what they need. So sell them what they want and give them what they need. That's the
Lovely.
mantra.
Very nice.
Yeah, and it so connected well with me. I said amazing because I was also very uncomfortable, asking and pitching. And though I have a sales background, but my sales happened because of relationships. I had good
Right.
relationship with people, and they bought because they were buying from Alok, and their services were good. So I was never there, and that's how I really feel so powerful about this sort of sales. That sales is a method and a medium to help those who deserve it. Otherwise,
True.
they would never get it, they would never understand that what is missing and how can they become what they want to be. So I guess that mindset really helps when it comes to sales, and that's very powerful. I have read about the new twist in your story about spirituality, but before I
Right.
go to that, let me ask you a favorite question of mine, is that what has been your biggest moment of transformation, Tanvi, in your life? There
Okay.
can be money, but where do you place that biggest one or the most important one?
Uh, the biggest or the most impactful moment of transformation happened to me, not again in the best possible circumstances as it usually is for a lot of people, but for me it was a sudden and tragic loss of my father.
Oh, I'm
So
so sorry.
it really gave a lot of perspective to life, in spite of being around, in spite of having everything resources wise, we were not able to save his life. So that really put a lot of things in perspective for me. And to answer your other, question, that was the inception of my journey of exploring our own spirituality as human beings. Who we are,
Hmm.
why we are here. I mean, I've always considered myself to be a spiritual person. I always deeply believed in the concept and the power of soul. But it became real when that happened to me.
Okay, that's powerful. I think these moments are transformative in many
Yeah,
ways, and we really ask those questions which we never ask. We ask those questions
absolutely.
with us, from the universe, that why are certain things happening the way it happens.
Exactly.
So, what are you doing in your spirituality journey, Tanvi? What is happening here? Are you
So,
learning something? What are you doing?
yes, yes, and yes to both. So, over the last 5 years, this June now, since I lost my father, it's been a completely different trajectory of personal transcendence for me. So, until then, I've always thought of myself as a very ambitious person, wants to conquer the world. But after this happened in 2016, I really, I really paused everything. Everything was complete standstill for a couple of months because as a family, we were just, in a complete state of shock and depression for the first few months. And it was only that when I started asking these questions to myself to become more aware of who, what, why, right? Why us? Why now? I started understanding the aspects of being human, of being spiritual, having a human dimension and experience, and a lot of answers started coming to me. A lot of knowledge and wisdom was revealed to me in my own pursuit of understanding the mysteries of the universe and our own mortality, our own humanness
Hmm.
in this, blink and a miss existence that we have. So
Wow.
that put me on a completely different trajectory of seeking knowledge and wisdom. So today, if I had to say that out of 100% of time that I invest in my own personal growth and transcendence, 50% is devoted to my spiritual transcendence and 50% to my personal and professional growth and developing a different outlook around the work that I do. Right, that is the balance I'm maintaining today. Earlier, it was 100% devoted to personal and professional growth and transcendence, and in the last 5 years, it's been 50-50. And I'm telling you, the transcendence I have had as a person, as a human being, in the last 5 years has been more profound than what it has been in the last 30 years of my life. So
Yeah.
that is what a spiritual bent of mind or an inquiry into the mysteries of the universe and our own existence does to you as a person. And it was during one of my trips to Egypt. I went on a spiritual retreat to Egypt in
Hmm.
2017, and I was meditating in the king's chamber over there.
Okay.
And all this had happened after my father passed away. So I was just asking the universe, that just help me understand what is the purpose of my life. Why be here at all? Why this time, why this lifetime, and why me? So I left it at that, and I just begun my journey of meditation after that stint, in Egypt and the spiritual retreat and everything. So I was just sitting and meditating one fine day, and that's when, I got the answer to my question that the purpose of your life is to help humanity raise its vibration. And I was like, okay, I understand from a spiritual perspective, but how am I supposed to do that, right? I had
Yeah.
no idea what it really meant at that point of time. And then it began, to really sink in, to understand deeper realities of the humanness that we have. We think we are human beings, but we are actually vibration beings. We all are vibrating at a certain frequency, right?
Yeah.
We look and feel very solid, but we are vibratory beings because every atom in our body is vibrating at a certain frequency. So I began studying and understanding, what is vibration, how do you elevate the vibration of your human body, and why is it important, what happens to you when you're in low vibration frequencies, what happens to you when you're in high vibration frequencies. I started learning all those things, researching all those things, and that's where I think, life comes back full circle beautifully. That's where I
Yeah.
could actually unleash the scientist and the researcher in me, which was waiting patiently, sitting dormant that, whenever you are right, we will get down that road as well. So that happened.
Yeah.
Began researching about this whole concept of vibration and spirituality from the human body perspective. And I came across a concept, something known as crystal elixirs. So right from ancient times, that I'm saying ancient times, it's I think 3000 years ago at least, during the ancient Egyptian civilizations, those pharaohs and queens, the Cleopatras of that civilization, would always and only consume crystal elixirs. And what are crystal elixirs? They're nothing but your water, your drinking water infused with crystals. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know much about crystals, but those who do, they swear by it. It's non-negotiable for them, right? It's like breathing. The power of crystals that they have, the metaphysical energies, the high vibration energies of crystals. If people are aware of it, they will resonate with it. If not, please go. It's a beautiful rabbit hole to explore if you're somebody who's interested in metaphysics and spirituality.
Wow.
Crystals epitomize these two things, because every crystal that is found on the face of the earth today is at least 1,000,000 years old. Imagine the repository of energy and vibration it has. Okay, so crystals are known for being metaphysical and high vibration elements, how all other elements are in nature. And when you infuse these crystals in your drinking water, it does multiple things, but two most important things it does is, A, it structures the water scientifically, which makes your water more bioavailable to your body. Okay, this is for all these rational thinkers. And B, it infuses your water with high vibration energies that it has, elevating the vibration quotient of water. Okay.
Wow.
Now, as a human being, when you drink this high vibration water, what are you doing? You are infusing your body with high vibration energies, because A, you're vibration beings, B, you're water beings. You're 75% water. This is an illusion, it's an external illusion. Internally, you are 75% water. We've always focused on the quantity of hydration, which is important on a daily basis, 5 liters, 6 liters of water that we should consume. Why aren't we taught about the importance of conscious hydration based on the quality of water that you're consuming? Why nobody talks today about what is the quality of water that should be consumed? What is high vibration water? What is low vibration water? What is structured water? What is not structured water? These are the things that I've been obsessed about over the last few years, because I realized that if a person really wants to accelerate their own spiritual transcendence, the fastest way is to consume high vibration water, because we are water beings. And it's easier for us to do that when we have that direct connection with water consciousness. Okay, as a part of the collective consciousness that we are tiny fragments of projected into a human existence, there's something called water consciousness. And when you are able to do yoga with that water consciousness by consuming high vibration water, you are able to elevate your own vibration and consciousness and transcend from a spiritual quotient perspective.
Wow,
So that is
beautiful.
what I am deeply, deeply driven to do, build, and share whatever I have learned with people who are interested in spirituality, who are interested in wellness, because ultimately this is the first step for your spiritual wellness. We all talk about physical wellness and fitness, but unless you have a spiritual wellness in your system, you will be stuck at a threshold of low vibration energies and emotions. You will not be able to transcend beyond that and feel higher vibrations, experience higher consciousness as a result thereof. So this is what I call is spiritual wellness.
Wow, I think I feel enlightened, Tanvi. This is so amazing. This is powerful. I got a little taste of it when I went for a Vipassana meditation 2 years back.
Right.
I stopped and I understood vibrations. I understood the power of it in our body, and it is incredible. I feel, the way you said that, you're ambitious, you want to get all, and you go at a very high speed. I think for some of us who are really conscious people, you go like a rocket, you go with all this
Yes.
escape velocity, and then comes a moment of vacuum when you exit the orbit, when you slow
True.
down. And you slow down, you feel weightless, and you see things in a deeper way. You
True.
get deeper and understand life in a deeper sense, deeper way. I guess that's where the journey is transforming, and it's a beautiful change.
Absolutely.
So that's a great transformation, Tanvi. So Tanvi, let me ask you very interesting questions I'm asking for the first time.
Okay.
So this because you're talking about spirituality. So Tanvi goes to heaven and meets the God. And what do you want the God to tell you?
Okay. I don't want him to thank me or anything. I would just want him to say, you did your best. Because as human beings, we feel that when we realize the purpose of our life and we do everything that we possibly humanly can to realize our spiritual destinies. Because of the human dimension that we think from the lens that we are not enough, right? Even at the end of our lives, I will still feel that, did I do enough to realize the purpose of my life? I may question myself and say, possibly not. And when I do move on to another dimension and I come face to face with the creator, I would want him to just say to me that, you did good, kid. That's all.
I love this answer, Tanvi. You did good, and you're doing good already. This is amazing. So that finishes my questions. And my last one is that if somebody wants to follow you, learn from you, what is the best way to reach you, Tanvi?
Well, couple of things. My website, if you want to know more about me, my journey. LinkedIn, if you want to initiate a conversation and reach out to me to talk about anything that I could possibly help you with, whether it's personal branding, thought leadership, or even just you're curious to know more about spirituality or whatever I spoke about today, Soma or conscious hydration and the world of metaphysics. And if you just want to say hi and follow me, come on Instagram and say hi. I'm not very active on Instagram, but I do what I want to do. I don't do what I should do, is my philosophy. I only do things that I want to do.
Okay. This is amazing. And my last question, Tanvi, what are you working on? Is there something in the pipeline which you are focusing on right now?
Yes, absolutely. So, like I said, up till now it's all been about taking it slow, doing extraordinary quality of work, working with limited premium clients at CXO level, and helping them with their aspirations of thought leadership. I realized, especially in the last 1 year, right, where I got that time to pause and reflect on what is it that I should be doing over and about to make a deeper impact on people's lives. I realized that there's so many people who are probably not at that level of CXO ships who could definitely benefit from something like this, because I asked myself, what would I want to gift to the 25-year-old me right? When I was just beginning this journey fresh out of B school. I mean, I feel I was blessed and I was privileged because I sought the right mentors at that point of time to enter this industry, right? Not a lot of 25-year-olds get that opportunity or the availability of resources or knowledge or mentoring to kickstart their careers with the right mindset, the right tools to embark upon their journey of personal brand management very consciously and very strategically. I did that because I wanted to get into this industry, and that's how it's changed the game for me. So I really asked myself, what would I want to give to the 25-year-old me? And I realized that I think it's time, after being in the industry for like a decade almost, everything that I've learned, become, and I'm constantly learning and becoming and growing every single day, I'm bringing all that together onto one single platform that I'm creating. It's a digital learning platform that I'm working on creating. It's called the Brand University with a YOU, right? It's going to be that one singular platform for any person who's interested in learning how to build, manage, grow their personal brand, how to manifest thought leadership, how to become a thought leader, how to think like a thought leader, how to communicate like a thought leader, how to learn and master the art of speaking, because thought leadership and speaking goes hand in hand. There is absolutely no distinction in that. If you're a thought leader, you have to champion our ideas, and you need to know how to do that in a powerful and irresistible way. So everything that a person may want to get their hands on, that level of mentoring, the knowledge, the wisdom around personal growth, personal branding, personal development, professional career transcendence, and of course spiritual elements of it as well, because no work that I do today is going to be complete without helping people understand the spiritual dimension of life, about purpose, about spiritual destiny, about your true resonance with who you are as a person and the work that you do. So all those things I'm going to be working on creating an online platform, which I said is called the Brand University. It's going to be a membership platform for people to come become a part of this community who learns together, grows together, meditates together, and transcends together.
Wow, and I love your enthusiasm when you're talking about it. So, guys, it's Brand University coming very soon. I would be promoting it for you. Just forward me the details when it comes, Tanvi. And I, when you said I would add spirituality, it really happens this way. When you learn something powerful and you understand something powerful, wow, this is mind blowing. We are so curious to tell others as well that, what, you just don't know, please listen to this. This is so important. And that enthusiasm is what makes us great teachers. So great work, Tanvi. Thank you so much for joining us today. I love this conversation, and I'm sure a lot of people will love that as well. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for hosting me, for being so thoughtful about your questions, and helping me bring the best of what I have to share in this short, powerful 40-45 minutes conversation. Thank you all once again.
Thanks a lot.